Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff and Paper Gary. For those of you that don't know, I am Jeff. That is my former best friend in paper form, Paper Gary, and he's here to help me build a Van's RV-8 aircraft. So lots to unpack. This is the second recording of the year, so I know I'm a little bit behind in posting videos. Hopefully I'm caught up by the time you see this, and that'll make sense. But want to get caught up on some things before we get started in the build process. So a few things today. We're going to go over a couple of goodies that I picked up from Brown Tool. Did get some improvements to the shop in means of floor mats, because standing on this hard cement floor for hours at a time working was killing my back and knees and ankles. So glad to have squishy mats now. And that's about it for non-airplane stuff. For the airplane stuff, there's a lot to talk about today. So at the last recording, you have seen or heard that I screwed up a set of ribs, the, what are they, HS00005. Yep, screwed up those ribs for the second time. Not the same time each time, right? I screwed them up in different ways, but I am on now my third set of ribs, which is frustrating, a little bit demoralizing, and really aggravating. So it's costing me time and it's costing me money. Now, there's an emotional event when you go through these things, right? And I was here working off camera last night trying to fix some things, and it was late and my eyes were tired, I couldn't see, and I started making further mistakes-ish, not making further mistakes, having struggles. And I really debated whether to talk about it. I didn't record it last night because I was just kind of heads down trying to get work done. But after going through the emotional event of screwing up a part for the first time or even the second time, I start to remember that, hey, the reason I'm doing this is so that others can learn from my mistakes. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm putting out these videos. So as frustrating as it might be, and slightly embarrassing to go share this with the world, I do want to dig into a little bit of what went wrong and how I intend to go fix it. So the ribs that we're talking about here are on the horizontal stab. They're the inboard side. I'm going to move the camera around. So this rib right here, the HS0005 on the horizontal stab, they are the inboard ribs. The first time I screwed these up, I was following the instructions to put these in place and then match drill all these holes. And what I failed to do was properly cleco the forward spar in place when I was doing so, and it shifted everything off a little bit. And so when everything was put into place, my holes didn't line up with the skin. So they were off about half a hole width, maybe 3/4 of a hole width. So there was no fixing it or drilling next to it. It was just scrap the part and buy new ones. So I got new ones, got them all in, match drilled them in place, had my tech advisor over here that day helping me out, and so it went quick and smooth and easy and everything was great. When I was getting ready to rivet everything together, I had realized that I failed to match drill 2 holes as per section DD on the drawing. So this hole here, I failed to match drill them to the face of the rib. No big deal, could put these things into place and match drill them and get on with my life. Well, I was not paying close enough attention when I did that, and instead of placing the ribs as they are positioned with the flange facing the inside towards the center line to where you can get in and rivet this row, I had it reversed, and I match drilled the holes, and they are off enough that I could not put them back on the other side, right? They are too different on each side to be able to line up. And so I can't install the ribs in that fashion, right? Because I won't be able to get a squeezer in there to go rivet them. So once again, those parts were trash, threw them in the garbage, and bought new ones. Paid expedited shipping. So, you know, there's another C note out of the wallet to go get parts here in time for this weekend, so I'm not at a delay. Now, give me a minute while I bring some parts over here, or probably move the camera around is best. Let's take a look over here. All right, as you can see, I have my horizontal stab pretty much clecoed together, and most importantly, The forward spar and the rear spar are all riveted together into one piece, right? The way the instructions tell you to do this is you're building this before you rivet those two pieces together, so you're only working with half the stab at a time, so the left side and the right side, which makes it a little bit easier to get that rib into this section here and go do all the work. It certainly makes it easier to get the skin on and off and aligned with the ribs that are inside there. So a little bit more challenging here with it all in one piece. And when putting this back together to go match drill the new ribs, I realized that I had installed 2 rivets on each side here on the aft spar that should not have been there, right? Because obviously the rib has to go rivet to those things. So I had to drill those 2 out, 2 on each side. And again, late last night, eyes were tired. I got 2 out successfully, no problem. I started with the other 2 that are inside the skin, and I didn't want to go through all the hassle of taking the skin off and they're right here on the edge. So I started drilling those things out, and it did not go well. I got the head off of one. The other one is really off center, and I'm afraid that if I drill any further, I'm going to get into the metal of the spar. So I just stopped. I was tired, eyes were tired. It was not a good time to be working on the airplane, and I held off till today. So this morning, the plan is to use the rivet removal tool. So stand by. So I saw this tool on that Hippie Pilot's channel, and somebody gifted him this tool, and I thought, well, hey, that looks like it might be handy. I might go ahead and get one. And what it does is it has a little collar around here that fits over the head of a rivet, so it holds it on center and then allows you to drill perfectly centered holes with this spring-loaded drill bit here, right? So I'm going to use that to try to recover the off-center hole that I have. Hopefully that works well and I can get in there and remove these rivets without damaging the hole on the spar. And then we can put new rivets back in there after the ribs get in there, and we'll have to repeat and do the same thing on the other side. And hopefully we'll get on with life and start getting this thing together. So that's about all for the introduction. Let's see what today brings, and we'll find out what we learn the hard way. Hopefully not, but you know, that seems to be par for the course here. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Before we get into working on the spar, I want to do a little bit of unboxing. So as I mentioned earlier, I stopped by Brown Tool the other day on the way home from work. Got a box that I can't seem to open. Little orange box to keep my parts better organized than in the plastic bag. I'll probably eventually 3D print some inserts here to hold things a little bit more neat and orderly. And then while I was doing my inventory on the ribs, doing the inventory on, I got ribs on the brain. While I was doing my inventory on the wing kits, I saw all the nut plates that were inside there, and I thought, well, now would be a great time to go get the nut plate tools. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with these, they're a little bit of a jig that you drill the center hole for your nut plate where your screw is going to go, and then you put this tool inside there, and it gives you the perfect alignment for the size of the nut plate that you're using to go drill that hole where the rivets will hold it in place. So you can do one side and then flip it over, and it holds it just perfectly for the other side. So I got those in number 6, 8, 10, and 1/4 inch because I believe those are all the required nut plates that we use on the airplane here. So those will be good to have. I went ahead and bought those now so that I don't inadvertently get at a stop work sometime because I'm just lacking a tool. Other things in the bag, a -3 raised head dimple or -3 raised head die for squeezing rivets. I don't know if we actually have any -3 rivets that are raised heads in this kit, but again, was not something that I wanted to get stuck at a work stop because I didn't have the tool, and it was, you know, a couple bucks, so I just threw that in the box of stuff to buy. And what else? 2 more things. Another microstop cage for countersinking. This is really important to have 2 of these things so that you can have one for your -3s, one for your -4s. So vital tool. And the one that I had, so I've got one here for my -4s. It's great. The one for my -3s, there's something botched up with the threads on there, and it's really kind of a pain to go adjust and turn. So I'm just gonna kind of throw that one in the backup parts bin, and I'll have this one here as the other size, so I don't have to take bits out all the time and change it. I can just put it in a drill and go. And then last, but certainly not least, the number 11 reamer that I need for some of the holes in here. So there are some holes where brackets mount to that require the number 11 reamer to go through there. I did not have that, so I have that step checked in my plans to go back and make sure that I accomplish that step, and we'll get to that before everything is closed up. So that's about it for parts, tooling, and unboxing. Apparently I got a free set of playing cards from Brown Tools, so thanks guys, appreciate that. Really nice people over there, and like I said, conveniently located on my way home from work, and not too far on my way home from work, so I can stop by there and get tools and supplies when necessary. So that's it. Now we'll get on to building. I've taken my line marking tool, and you can get these things from Aircraft Spruce for like $7 or something. I think they're pretty cheap, but they're really great for drawing a center line down parts and ribs. So what we've done, or what I've done, is drawn the center line along here, and then I want to see that center line in the center of the holes that are pre-drilled in the skin. So I'm using some edge clamps, moving that around until I get that line just as center as I can possibly get it. And then we'll know that we're in the right position and we can start drilling. Okay, so it appears that we have everything ready to go to drill this rib. I have checked that all the blue lines that I drew on there with my line marker are dead center in the hole. I've got all my clecos into the spar, forward and aft. I've got it in the cradle. I've got everything put in place. I've got the forward rib in there, clecoed in place. And then check the top and bottom holes in the spars to make sure that my blue line is in there as well. Now, when it comes to those end flanges, there may be a little bit of difference in my edge tool. I know for a fact that this flange was a little bit longer, and so the center is a little bit off. So I'm not too terribly concerned. So long as I have my sides centered, then I know that my flange on the top and bottom are good. Now, it just so happens that on one side the line is still visible, it's only slightly off center. On the other side it's dead center, so I'm really not concerned with, you know, a 30-second of spacing or 2 30-seconds of spacing that it's off. So even with that, I'm going to take just a minute to sit back, clear my head, think about this before I start drilling parts to make sure that this is the last time we screw up this part.